Hi guys, so welcome to the live stream. First off, if anybody's watching, just let me know you can hear me or not. Yeah, so things are going good so far in Dartmouth. We're getting a little bit settled in. You're going to have to excuse the angle, you guys, that I'm doing this live stream on. I'm doing it from my kitchen because I don't have a desk yet. Heath has a desk for his computer and stuff like that, but he's using the computer right now, so I'm doing this from the kitchen. And my computer's charging too, so that's another reason why I'm doing it from the kitchen. Anyhow, I was trying to get a little bit more settled in. We are still, though, the only thing with our apartment is that we still haven't been able to hang our clothes up. We still haven't put the rods and that in, so we're still waiting for that. And the closet door needs to be fixed, but it's just a couple things. We're just waiting on it. Isn't too bad. I finally today sold my cell phone. I've been trying to sell, so that gave us a little bit extra money there. Without me selling that phone today, I may not have been able to do a video tomorrow just because things have just been a little bit tighter. But Heath will get his first pay. Is it starting this week, honey, or next week?
This week.
This week. So after that, things will be easier. Yeah, so we're getting there. We still want to get a couple things for the living room, like a TV stand and a bookcase, and maybe a couple of little tables to go on the other side of the couch. But we're getting there. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to do that. My finger accidentally touched my mouse there. Anyway, so one of the things... Hi! Yeah, everything is going good. How are you doing? Well, right now it's actually really, I'm having really, well, to me it's really windy because it's not as windy back home, but it's been really windy out and thunder and lightning and all that. But, it's starting to die down a little bit now, but yeah, so far so good. I don't know if you guys saw in the topic there of that Austin Powers meme that I put on the thumbnail there. About how people are treated in, like, fast food restaurants. Now, before I got my call center job, I worked, not by choice, just because, you know, I needed a job to pay the bills, and there's something wrong with... no, I don't have more furniture yet. I was just saying, actually, before you dropped in, we're working on that. Next thing I have to get is a TV stand, and I want to get a bookcase, maybe a couple little tables for each side of the couch. So we're getting there. I still gotta look at Kijiji and Let Go to see if there's anything good on there. I actually haven't a chance to yet. But yeah, we're working on getting more furniture. I don't get my next full pay till Friday, so we can't really do anything much until then. But anyhow, one topic, if you guys saw the Austin Powers meme in my thumbnail there relating to food service industry. I worked in the food service industry before my call center job for like at least 20 years. Yeah, we did get that free desk, and actually I have a cool story for... I'll get back to the fast food service industry topic I wanted to get to in a second. A funny story, well, not a funny story, really a cool story about that desk. The people that we got the desk from, they live about 2-3 doors down from Sidney Crosby's parents. If any of you follow hockey, Sidney Crosby, Pittsburgh Penguins captain. Anyways, he told us which house it was. It's like, if you guys want to see which house it is, it's the one with the 3 Mercedes in the driveway. So that was kind of neat. Yeah, so just a little bit story about that desk came from a neighbor of Sidney Crosby. Kind of cool. Whether or not you follow hockey, I think that's kind of cool. But anyways, so that's the story behind our desk. We should call it the Sidney Crosby desk, eh, honey? Mm-hmm. Anyhow, yeah, the reason why I want to touch on the food service industry is that it kind of relates to, you know, having a food review channel. And, you know, I review fast food items and stuff like that. When I was working in fast food, a lot of customers were actually like, when they weren't happy about something, you know, in some cases they had genuine reason to, like, not be happy because their food wasn't the way it should have been. In other cases, they just went like way over the top. Like, I remember just one incident when I was working A&W. This lady was like really drunk. You could just smell the whiskey just like reeking and reeking from her. And she ordered like a sausage and egger. Those of you who don't know, it's just like McDonald's sausage McMuffin. It's just like egg, cheese, sausage on an English muffin. Actually, no, it was wrong. With A&W, they put them on hamburger buns or an English muffin now, I think. But anyways, at the time, you can only get it on a hamburger bun. She came back to the counter insisting that we burnt the sausage. Meanwhile, it was supposed to, she's like, it looks brown. You guys burnt my sausage. We're like, it's supposed to look brown when it's cooked, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry you don't feel like you had a good experience, but, the sausage, like, we even proved her, they cut it open and showed her that it was fine and everything else. It was fully cooked and everything else. And she started throwing food at the cashier. I was working in the back, started throwing food at the cashier front now, which I don't think is cool at all. If she legitimately, the sausage was burnt or whatever, and even if it wasn't, but like it was just kind of her behavior that I think was like on the verge of like harassment. You know what I mean? Like it actually was harassment. She just started throwing food at my friend the cashier, and we had to call security. But by the time we called mall security, she had hightailed it out of the mall. I think that's a little too extreme. You know what I mean? Like, if something's wrong with your food, like, just go to the person at the counter and say, excuse me, my food isn't, what I was expecting, and just say why. You don't need to yell or scream or throw fruit at the person behind the counter. Like, just like these videos you see online of these, like, people just jumping over the counter at McDonald's and just, like, beating up somebody because they didn't get sweet and sour sauce or they missed an item in their order. I think, like, I'm just like, really? Like, I don't know. I think, like, as long as you could just go up politely and just say, like, this was wrong with my food. Can you replace it, or can you give me my money back? Whenever people were nice about it and are like, my food, it wasn't to my expectations. Like, is it okay if I get my money back? And I'd be like, sure, no problem. Here you go. You know what I mean? Even if I didn't agree with them or not, I still, I don't mind doing what somebody asked as long as they were polite or, at least respectful. You know what I mean? There's another incident, this involved me. I was a cashier. I was working at the cash up front at A&W. And somebody had ordered a chicken sandwich. Now, when they ordered it, they didn't have any, the chicken, breaded chicken pieces cooked or anything like that for the sandwiches. So I just let them know. So it's going to be, a few minutes. I apologize for the wait, but I just want to let you know, like when you get your sandwich, it's going to be really, really hot. You're going to want to wait a few minutes. I even reminded them when they gave them their order, just as a reminder, the sandwich is going to be really, really, really hot. I recommend you wait like 5 minutes or so before you start eating, or even longer than that, because it just came right out of the fryer. I don't want you, I don't want you to burn yourself or anything like that. There's a guy and his, I guess, fiance came back screaming at me 10 minutes later saying, yelling and screaming at me, you didn't tell me it was going to be this hot and this and that. My fiance burned her mouth and she's scarred for life and we're supposed to get married tomorrow, and on and on and on. And I was just like, kind of said, look, so, I reminded you several times, like, that was going to be really hot and to wait a few minutes, right? Well, he didn't, and then I just kind of yell and scream, so I just stopped talking and just let him scream and yell, and let him, and he just made himself look really stupid, because everybody in the food court was just staring at him, like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Screaming at him. Some people that were even looking at me, and I was just like, and one of the other cashiers, like, backed me up, and she said, sir, like, she did tell you, like, more than once, she did let you know more than once that the sandwich was going to be really, really hot and not to eat it right away. And that made me even more mad, I guess, because he knew we were right. You know what I mean? Like, that he was told. He was just on. He's like, oh, I want my money back, and this and that. And even after we gave him his money back, he's still yelling and screaming and carrying on, to the point where we had to call mall security because he was, like, yelling and screaming and just wouldn't stop, right? It was another time when I was working at Burger King. It was on Whopper Wednesday. Now, those of you I don't know, if you have Whopper Wednesday or not in States. It's like every Wednesday, Whoppers are on sale at like half price or something like that. And it's going to be, and it can be extremely busy. And, which is fine. Everybody keeps up with the orders and everything else. And, you know, we managed to make as few mistakes as possible. And, but we had this one guy that just came out and started yelling at, one of the cashiers. It wasn't even the cashier that served him. It was, you know, another cashier, and she started yelling, screaming, and this and that at her, and then to her manager. Started to, like, say to her manager that she swore at him and this and that, and I was right there, and like she told me about it later, and she's like, "Oh, they're like disciplining me because the customer said that I swore at them." And I was like, you know, why don't they ask me what happened? I was right there. You didn't swear at them or anything. You just came up to the counter and started yelling and screaming at you because they weren't happy with their Whopper. You know what I mean? And, like, that's verbal abuse. Like, where does this stop? You know what I mean? And the problem with all these food places, fast food places too, is that head office just believes whatever the customer says. Like, a customer basically can just complain to any fast food place and just, like, make up whatever they want. And the head office will just be like, okay, and the bend over backwards go, here you go. You have whatever you can have whatever you want. And the one thing I did like about A&W, their head office, is that they always would contact us and ask us our side of the story. And they would look at both sides, and if they thought the customer was in the wrong, they would say so. I wish more not just fast food companies, actually more fast food companies, more companies in general, would, like, believe their employees when the customer is, like, you know, being abusive or harassing them and stuff like that. They, like, some companies just take the customer is always right thing way too far. You know what I mean? I end up going to the manager too about that story from Burger King and said, look, I was there when this happened. And she didn't swear at him or anything. She just stood there and let the guy yell at her. You know what I mean? And she didn't swear at him or anything. She didn't say anything to the guy. Like, so I don't think it's fair, you know, you guys are disciplining her, right? She didn't do anything. The guy just came up and started, you know, verbally harassing her for no reason whatsoever. Like, well, not really no reason, but, like, to me, right? Like, there's no reason to act like that. Even when it comes to food, if you're not happy with your order, there are better ways to handle it than yelling and screaming and verbally abusing somebody. I don't know what you guys think. You guys tell me what you think in the chat right now, or those of you later on when you watch the replay. I want you to put your comments. What do you think? You know what I mean? Do you think somebody deserves to be yelled at, or somebody who's working behind a counter fast food place? Do you think they deserve to be yelled at, harassed, swore at? Do you think they deserve to have food thrown at them? You know what I mean? Like, what is over the top? What is okay and what is over the top? To me, it's okay to just go up to the counter and say, excuse me, you know, my bun was too soggy, or my burger isn't cooked properly, or, you know what I mean? Not, like, if you go up and you just calmly talk to them like they're a person, you know what I mean? Say, well, this was wrong with my order. You know, how can you guys fix that? You know what I mean? Like, can you just replace it for me, or can I have my money back? You know what I mean? Like, just go up to the counter and just be reasonable. Don't just be like yell and scream and harass people, you know, and to get your way, right? If you're, like, reasonable, most fast food places will do whatever they can to, you know, to make it right. Like, for example, with McDonald's, Keith and I, we'd order at the McDonald's in Burlington. They would always forget something, right? But I wouldn't complain or whatever. But, you know, I mean, I guess because I know both sides because I had worked in fast food. But one time they forgot our fries. But I ordered, like, this combo that wasn't cheap, and I didn't get the fries. So I got my burger and the drink. So I complained. So I just let them know. I said, look, you know, I don't like to complain or anything, right? But I'm always missing an item. When we order at this McDonald's, we're always missing something. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Now, they didn't have to do this. They sent me coupons, like, for, like, free meals and stuff. And then, God, like, even, like, every once in a while before we left Ontario, they sent me coupons for free ice cream and stuff like that. That's not why I did it. You know what I mean? But I appreciate that they went that extra mile to try and, you know, keep my business as a customer. But, Like I said, I wish that all fast food head offices would be like A&W's head office. You know what I mean? They look at both sides. They realize that sometimes customers are just going to make, excuse my language, are just going to make shit up because they want free food or they just want something for free. A lot of times when I was working at A&W in the mall, yeah, you're right. You're right. Nasty girl, that's exactly how I felt when I was in the food service industry. That's exactly how I was treated. Like, I was a servant. I was just to serve people. And in the bathroom going, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Here you go. Your wish is my command. It's exactly how people treat me. But I noticed it was mostly the older generation. And that would generally treat us like that. Not really anybody who was younger. And I hate this, I'm sorry, but most of the times it was people who were from the old generation in general who would treat us like crap. They were there just to, like, we're just servants. Like, you know what I mean? Or other people would treat me like, would assume I was stupid. Just because I was working at a fast food place at my age and behind the counter, they assumed that I was an idiot. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. Like you're some kind of lesser life form. You know what I mean? You're nothing better than the servant to just serve them their food, and that's it. You know, like, we don't have feelings. Like, they don't have to be polite to us. They don't have to, you know, they have to feel, some people, honestly, I think as customers, they feel like they have the right to harass those poor people who work in retail, or not just fast food, but in retail in general. You know what I mean? And quite a number of times I saw customers harass people so bad, the other cashiers, that they would be in tears. And there's no need for that. You know what I mean? Like, for whatever you paid for your meal, $10. Like, sorry, I got really emotional about this. Is that really worth you making somebody get upset over? You know, for $10? Does that make you feel better? You know what I mean? Like, I just really hate people getting treated badly in general, especially in retail or in fast food. It's just not warranted, and it happens again and again because people just see them as servants. As you're just there to serve you, going, yes sir, no sir, it doesn't matter how badly you're treated, you're just so expected to take it. No, I don't think so. There has to be a line drawn, and at least with when I worked with A&W head office, I know I hated working for A&W, at least with their head office. When things happened, they always asked our side of the story. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you're low income, you've got enough stress in your life, you don't need people abusing you or harassing you on top of it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the person's life is behind the counter. You don't know what their life is. You don't know what other things they have going on in their life, or why they're working in that job, or what brought them to that position in life. You know what I mean? Yeah, people just don't think or don't care. I'm not sure which. At least with the A&W head office, like I keep saying, they would always ask the employees their side of the story. When I worked at Burger King, they never once asked the employee that had been harassed or yelled at or screamed at their side of the story. They would just ask the customer what happened and believe whatever the customer said. Not once did they ask the employee what really happened. And not once did our managers at that store back us up. They would just keep their mouths shut and let head office treat the person like shit. Like, they let the head office treat that employee like they did something wrong. Even if they didn't. No one, everybody just kept their mouths shut. Or just like, and another thing too, it's not just that, it's the management in these fast food places aren't always the best either, because I had a bad fall when I was at Burger King. Somebody had mopped the floor, didn't have any wet signs down, and didn't tell me they'd been mopping. Meanwhile, whenever I mopped the front cash area of Burger King, I always told everybody I was mopping, and I always put the signs out. Yet nobody told me when someone else did it the one night. And down I went, and everything else. And I was expected to come back to work as soon as possible, no matter what. And I was like, my whole right side, I could like I bruised my ribs and my whole right side. I was expected to come back to work as soon as possible. My manager actually said to me to not go to workman's comp because he didn't want more fines. I did anyway, so I'm sorry, you know what I mean? I said to her, I said, I'm filing anyway, because that's my right as a worker, and like, I can't afford to not file because I need that money that I lost. I can't remember how long I was off for, but and then the time I was out, the thing was like less than a week, but they're still trying to pressure me to come back and come back, because they get less fines the sooner you come back to work. Every time you fall or you have an accident at work, you're treated like it was your fault. You know what I mean? So you're bombarded from both sides. It's not the customer, so it's the management not supporting you and not having your back. You know what I mean? It's not just the fast food industry. It's like all retail jobs. People, just the public, anybody who's never worked in retail or worked in the fast food industry. I'm not saying everybody, right? I'm just saying some certain people who have never worked in those industries think that those people serving them are their servants and they can do whatever they want to them. I know not everybody is like that. There are a lot of good people out there. Not everybody treats, retail people like that. But there's a small percentage of people who just think they can do whatever they want, whatever they please to the person that's serving them because the customer's always right. One thing I really would like to do is go back in time and just strangle, just go to that person, not strangle them, just go to that person who came up with that saying, what frig were you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, customer service in general, everybody's just treated like a servant. You're just there to serve people. No matter how you're treated, you're supposed to just serve the public. Like, at least with A&W too, if you felt like you were being harassed by the customer, you were allowed to refuse service. I wish more customer service places were like that. If you feel like you're being harassed so badly, like someone's just yelling and screaming and swearing at you, or throwing things at you, I think you should be allowed to refuse service and say, you know what, I'm not serving you. Because at my call center job, right, if somebody is harassing us or just swearing at us, we are allowed to say to them, you know what, I'm not going to take you harassing me. I'm not going to take this, this behavior from you. I say, when you call back when you've calmed down, I'm going to disconnect the call. We're allowed to disconnect the call at my work if somebody is harassing us or verbally abusing us, or they're attacking us personally. We are allowed to refuse to help that customer and end the call. And I wish more places would do that. Do you know what I mean? If you don't address that kind of behavior, people just think it's okay. You know what I mean? And I wish more companies would address it. Say, you know what? Stand up for your employees and say, you know what? If you feel someone's harassing you, you're allowed to refuse some service. A&W wasn't always the best company to work for, but at least they stood up for their employees, unlike their customer service places do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never had it get to the point where, I think only once I had a call that was so bad, I warned them. I said, look, I warned them, if you're going to verbally abuse, personally attack me one more time, I'm going to end the call. And they wouldn't listen, so I had to end the call. You know what? Like, in the call center I work at, we get customer surveys. I don't care if I get a dissatisfied survey. If they're going to, harass me like that, we're allowed, if they're harassing us, to disconnect the call. Actually, at my work, we just have to warn them once. They don't listen, we're allowed to disconnect. And they record all the calls, so I'm sure they'd be able to back us up. You know what I mean? I just wish more customer service head offices in general and just back up their employees, or at least listen to their side of the story, not just assume that customer is right. Because a lot of times, people just make up stuff because they want to get free. I'm not saying every person does this, but some people will just complain to a fast food place to see how much free stuff they can get. That would happen quite a bit at A&W around Christmas time, because it was in a mall. And in that mall at Christmas time, it was really busy. And just one time too, we had this person call and complain, and apparently said they ordered all this stuff. And my boss asked me, they said they came at this time, do you remember an order like that? I said, there was no order like that. I remember there's no order like that, because most of the time people would order teen burgers and stuff. This person just said they ordered all chicken stuff. So there's no order that was just all chicken. And she didn't believe it. And she told him, she said, no, I'm sorry, you don't get free food. I want you to, you have to bring a receipt to prove to me that you ordered that food. And they got mad at and swore at my boss and hung up the phone. Well, because they got caught. They were just calling to see if they could get free stuff. I mean, I know there are good people in the world who do treat, the customer service industry with respect. There's those people who treat, your cashiers with respect, or when there's something wrong with your order, you go up to the counter and you deal with it in like a more polite, appropriate manner than harassing somebody or yelling and screaming at them. I think it's great. I wish more customers were like you guys. You know what I mean? If you treat people appropriately, but for those of you who feel like it's your right to yell and scream or harass somebody because they're serving you behind the counter, you know what? You think it's so easy to work in a fast food place? Why don't you try it for a day? I bet you wouldn't last 1 minute. You know what I mean? I would just those people who think they have a right to treat people however they want, just because they're in the retail industry, that thinks that these people that serve them are their servants. Try it for a day. Go ahead. Try it for 1 day. Serve the public. You think how easy it is? Think it's that easy? Think all they do is just stand there and we don't do anything? Like, oh, exactly. Ask girl, you're right. You know what I mean? It's that old saying, treat others the way you want to be treated. You want people to verbally abuse you and harass you, then that's the way you should be treated. You know what I mean? If you're not going to treat people with respect or be polite, then you don't deserve the same back. You know what I mean? I just really want you guys to just let me know what you think in the comments when you watch this replay. You know what I mean? And I'm going to make sure to share this live stream later on my social media and everything, because I really think this is something that just, I'm going to just here, serve with the line there. This is something that really needs to be addressed. Nobody does anything about it. You know what I mean? None of these big fast food companies or, retail companies like Walmart, Kintar, what have you. Anybody in the retail industry, customer service industry, like, they don't listen to their employees. Actually, the only one that does, like I said, is A&W. As far as I know. Like, that may have changed, right? But when I worked for them at that time, they always asked the employee that was involved what happened and asked for their side of the story. And 9 times out of 10, they would believe the employees and say to the customer, you know what, too bad. We did investigation, we looked at all the facts, you lied about it. You know what I mean? And don't try this again. They would warn the customer too and say, look, don't try this again. This is just a warning. You know what I mean? More people who harass the customer service industry need to be held accountable for their actions. People aren't held accountable. They think that they can do it. It's okay to act like that. And I just get so emotional about it because I still have some friends who are in that industry, and it's not an industry that's easy to work in because you're just treated like you're not worth, by some people, like you're not worth the lowest form of dirt on the planet, and I just don't think that's right. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I liked about A&W. Someone didn't treat us with respect. We were allowed to treat them the same way back and refuse service. I wish more companies in the customer service industry would allow their employees to stand up for themselves. But they don't. They take the customer's word. They don't even ask the employee involved what really happened. And just like that cashier at my at Burger King, they suspended her for like 3 days. Without even asking her side of the story or if anybody witnessed it. And I went to the managers and said, look, I was there, and she didn't swear at him at all or anything. Like, why didn't you guys ask who witnessed it? Who saw what happened? Like, why didn't you ask us our side of the story? And she was like, just give some lame excuse like, oh, well, the head office, they just care about what the customer's saying. So what about the employee's side of things? Like, don't you think maybe in some cases, like, I'm not saying every customer complains, is making it up, but there is the odd person that just, like I said, that just makes shit up just to like try and get something for free. They don't care that the employee there making the story about is going to get in trouble, or they might even lose their job. You know what I mean? Like, and this girl, who the customer said apparently swore at her, when he lied and said that she swore at him, she almost came that close to losing her job. And it wasn't for me. Like, if I didn't go up to the management and say something about it, they would have let her go. It shouldn't have been my job as an employee to try and save her job. The head office should have asked her side of the story. And I'm sorry as I get emotional about this. I'm not saying all of you, treat customer service, people who work in customer service like crap. It's just a very low percentage who feel like they can yell at somebody just because, at a fast food place because they think they're there to serve them. You know what I mean? I know most people, if there's something wrong with their order, you go up to the counter and you say something about it. But you don't yell and scream or like throw a tantrum like you're a 3-year-old and start throwing food and stuff. You say, excuse me, my bun is soggy, or there's something wrong with my bun, or I'm missing this from my burger. Can you replace it? Or can I have my money back? That's it. Like, what's that old saying? People like to make a mountain out of a molehill. If you don't know what that saying means, basically it means just like molehill is just like, these little hills, these little tunnels that moles dig in the ground. But, you know what I mean? And it's just a little problem, but everybody makes it like this gigantic problem. The size of like Mount Everest. That's what people like to make a big deal out of nothing. And you know what I mean? And these customers some of them are just like so concerned with getting what they think they deserve as a customer. They don't realize that the employee they may be making stuff up about might not have a job. But the head office from that company may not even ask them their side of the story and just let them go. That happens a lot in the customer service industry, more than people think. You know what I mean? With A&W it didn't, because they were smart. They would look at both sides of the story. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, they were determined a lot of the time that person was just calling head office, to try and get something out of it for themselves. And there was some, there was a lot of times too, though, there's some times when people would call genuinely making a complaint about something. That's why they asked both sides, so they could determine whether they were really genuinely had a concern or they were just trying to get, free crap. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry I keep on repeating this. I just wish more customer service companies would just listen to both sides of the story. Like, things are black and white. They're not just black or not just white. There's 2 sides to every story. Just like in some cases too, I'm sure the fast food employee can be in the wrong. Right? You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect. But like these customers that don't treat people in the customer service industry appropriately should be not be able to be addressed. Same with those people in the customer service industry who may not treat people appropriately. That needs to be addressed. Well, it is addressed in the customer service industry, because if they genuinely are treating customers the way they should, what happens? They're let go. What do you do when it's a customer? You know what I mean? Like, at least with the Burger King I worked at, though, is somebody, there was a guy that came out harassing people. He got asked never to come back to that store again. Oh, hi, Arizona. How you doing? I'm just doing a little rant here. I don't know what you think. I'm just talking about the customer service industry, how not all people, but that some people seem to think that because somebody is, behind a counter at McDonald's or a coffee shop or Walmart or what have you, that they can yell and scream and harass the person that's serving them. I'm just saying that I think that's just something that should be addressed, right? Like, I'm sure something's wrong with your order, you can call and go to the counter and say, this is wrong with my order. What can you guys do to, to rectify that? Can I have my money back? Can you replace it? You know what I mean? In a respectful way, not just like yelling and screaming and swearing and throwing food at the person on the other side of the counter. I mean, I just think that, and just like too, though, there's some people in the fast food or industry or customer service industry who don't treat customers appropriately. But the difference is when it's somebody who works in the customer service industry, they don't treat customers appropriately. They're let go. Eventually, you know what I mean? Their bosses find out they're not treating people the way they should, or they find out if they're stealing or this and that, and then they're let go. And I think when it's a customer who doesn't treat customer service staff appropriately, they should be asked never to go to that location again. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it has to be addressed. We should all be able to treat each other with respect. You know what I mean? And we're all people. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect. And I just think we just need to be all nicer to each other. I know it's not a perfect world. Probably a long time before that will ever happen. But, you know, if we could change just one person's attitude by watching this, that's just a start, right? You know what I mean? And, like, you know, the places are going to get your order wrong. Like, nobody's perfect, like I said. It's just about all in how you deal with that situation. You know what I mean? If you deal with that situation by yelling and screaming at the person behind the counter, I don't think you're dealing with it in the correct way. You know what I mean? Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. You don't know that person and, you know, what's going on in their life. Like, I just really wish that those people who think that they can treat people like crap who work in the customer service industry, like, put the shoe on the other foot. Like, volunteer to work in the fast food place for a day. See how long you last. You know what I mean? Then you understand better. Putting the shoe on the other foot. What's that movie about? Freaky Friday. That's what actually this kind of thing is about. The mother and daughter couldn't see eye to eye. So, you know, fate, the universe or what have you, had them switch places. And then they could, you know, put a shoe on the other foot. They lived that person's life for a day, and then they understood that person a lot better. They had that much more respect for each other, right? As corny as that sounds, you know what I mean? And everybody's like, that's great comedy and everything else. And by the way, with that movie, I like both versions, both classic version and the one with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. I like both of those. But anyways, that's a side note. But not maybe knows the comedy and everything else. It's about like trying to understand the other person you have a difference with. Try and put the shoe on the other foot. Like think about how they might feel. You know what I mean? And everybody's so consumed with their own lives and, you know, distracted with things they have going on. Like, I just once in a while, people just need to realize it's not the end of the world. If your food is wrong, if your order is wrong, you just deal with it in a respectful way, and then you'll be treated that way back. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying people need to do. Well, not just in that industry. In general, people really wish they treat each other with more respect. I find, like, with the internet, that's actually gotten worse. So some people think because they're behind a keyboard, they can say whatever they want, and it's not going to hurt somebody's feelings. You know what I mean? Like trolls, for example. You find trolls in all places. All I did was post an ad to sell my phone the other day, and this person started out by saying, like, Android's better than Apple. Whatever. You know what? I'm going to respect their opinion. Not everybody likes Android. Not everybody likes Apple. So I just didn't say anything. And then they started going on how there's some tap dancer or something stupid. And they were like, we're comment after comment just to try and get reaction out of me. You know what I mean? I didn't react at all. All I did was report them and block them and delete the conversation. I didn't respond back. You know what I mean? People just seem to think you're behind it. Yeah, they can act however they like, some people. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, as people, it wouldn't hurt. Just take a second, you know, to maybe think how that person, how would you feel if somebody treated you like that? Someone just came up to the counter, started yelling and screaming at you and throwing stuff at you. If you were working in the customer service industry, or how would you feel in general if anybody in your life, a coworker, somebody who's supposed to be your friend just came out and started yelling and screaming and harassing you, how would you feel? You know what I mean? I just wish people would just be more kinder to each other, you know, treat each other with more respect. Just try and think once in a while. Not everything is about you. Think about other people besides yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant here. And I'm going to get going thinking, well, it's actually hot in here. What temperature is it now, honey? Have you checked?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's about 18, 20 degrees Celsius. How much would that be in Fahrenheit?
64.
Okay, it was about 64, which is nice. I'm not complaining about that in November. You know what I mean? I think today I was out in a t-shirt. I didn't even need a jacket, well, before it started raining and everything. You guys notice? I don't know if you noticed, my hair is like frizzy. Like, I have curly hair, and when it gets hot, or when it's humid out, or even when it's warm out, my hair is just like, shh. Yes, I am, Danny. Thank you. You missed the rant. Not really a rant, more just like a discussion. How people who are customers, who like to harass people in the customer service industry, would just treat them with more respect. I was actually just about to go. It's again kind of hot here. I'm in the kitchen, and it's about 64 degrees outside Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's okay. Don't be sorry, Danny. I feel so bad because you keep on missing them. I'll try and stay on for a few minutes longer, okay? I don't know what you think. I was just talking about people who, like, when their order is wrong in a fast food place, instead of, you know, dealing with it in an appropriate and respectful way, they just go storming up to the counter and yelling and screaming and swearing, and in some cases throwing food. I actually, that happened to a friend of mine. We were working in the A&W. I drunkenly ordered a sausage sandwich, insisted the sausage was burnt, even though I politely showed her that it wasn't, and that it wasn't too overcooked. She insisted that it was burnt, and we didn't cook it properly, and she started throwing her food at my friend. And then we had to call security, and she ran out of the mall. But I just don't think that's appropriate, you know what I mean? But anyhow, yeah, Nova Scotia's great. It's a lot more windier here, though, when they have a windstorm, which I'm trying to get used to. And when it rains here, it rains. It doesn't just drizzle, guys. It's like, it rains cats and dogs. But you know what? That's fine with me. I don't mind rain as long as it's not snowing. And it's actually still kind of like, I guess, warm here. I think today, before it started raining and that, I was out in a t-shirt. I had a light jacket when we first went out, but lack of respect for we were having the golden rule. Exactly. I was talking about earlier about the customer is always right. How a lot of times when I was working in that industry, I wish that I could just go back in time and tell that person, you know, why did you come up with that saying? Because you know what? 9 times out of 10, the people who would harass us, they would quote that. But the customer is always right. There's another story I forgot to tell you guys, actually, Danny, and I didn't tell them yet. I was working at the A&W. I don't know if you guys know, but at least A&W in Canada, they don't serve ice in the drinks. They used to, but then they stopped doing it, I guess, because, I don't know, when you put ice in it, it dilutes it and doesn't taste the same. Now, me, I like ice in my drink, but that's okay, besides the point. We had even, like, explanation on the cup there, saying why we didn't have ice, but I had this guy come up to me and complain that he wanted his money back and everything. He's like, oh no, he was ordering, and he's like, oh, and can I get less ice in my drink? And I explained to him, I said, I'm sorry, we don't put, and they'll just put ice in your drinks, and I explained to them why, and they started yelling straight at me, well, I'm the customer, and because the customer's always right, if I want ice in my drink, you have to give me ice. And I'm like, we don't have any ice. I said, sir, I'd love to give you ice for your drink, but we don't have any ice, so I can't give you what you want because we don't have it. And he's like, oh, do any of the other places have ice? I said, no, because the other place was like a Japanese teriyaki place. They didn't have an ice machine. and a couple of other places, none of them had ice machines, right? And he said, forget it, I want my money back. He wanted his money back because we had no ice. Doesn't get much snow in the winter. I'm assuming you mean Nova Scotia. I don't know. I've heard that they do get a lot. The last couple of winters, they would get a lot, but then it would end up raining a lot, and then the snow would melt away. I have heard that this year, though, that both Ontario and Nova Scotia are supposed to get bad winter this year, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've heard they get quite a bit, but that it melts away in a few days if it rains or whatever. But I don't know, it's supposed to be a bad winter this year from what we've heard, but I've also heard it's supposed to be bad winter in Ontario as well. So, and you know what? The weather people aren't always right, so we'll just see how it goes. If we get a lot of snow, we get a lot of snow. We'll deal with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't mind it being warmer. I couldn't believe it's November and I was out in a t-shirt today. In Ontario, it's not as warm. You won't be able to do that right now, so I'm loving that. And I don't mind the rain, at least, because it's not cold out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so guys, so I think I'm gonna, oh my goodness, it was 45 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Those of you who are watching replay, I'm really interested in knowing what you guys think. How do you think people in the customer service industry should be treated? Do you think people should, when their order isn't right, yell and scream and harass the staff, or do you think there's a better way of handling it? Just please let me know, you guys, in the comments what you think. And, oh, you're welcome. Welcome, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And, yeah, so I'm going to be, can't tell you how many times I ran that the customer's not always right. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, Danny, 100%. And you're welcome. Yeah, I worked in the customer service industry. Well, I still am, except now I'm doing call center work. I worked in the food service industry for about, like, 20 years before I got the call center job. So, anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Those of you who are watching may not be subscribers, I encourage you to subscribe. Remember to like and share the stream if you guys enjoyed it. You guys want to see Heath? Come on, Heath.
Hi guys, how's it going? Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.